I'm now joined by Chidi Nwaonu, a security consultant at Pekavi Consulting that specialises in solutions to security and defence problems in Africa. So thank you very much for coming to talk to us. Why do you think there has been such an upsurge in the violence in that region?
Well, part of the issues in the Sahel relate to what's going on all over the world, i.e. climate change, and also the rise of the Islamic State, which has given a lot of local groups, small local groups that really wouldn't have had that cachet or that kind of resource or power, the authority and the spread around the area. At the same time, you've got other local problems which are now being, how would I put it, put on top of these bigger problems. So you've got tribal issues between the Fulani and the Dogon, or the Fulani and, herdsmen and farmers, in Nigeria and in the Sahel. And all of these problems in terms of human trafficking, gold mining and things like that, that are exacerbating this crisis and causing people to, resort to violence rather than dialogue.
And what about the efforts to contain it? Why have they not been successful so far?
Oh, partly because the efforts aren't necessarily local. You've got France, which operates as the kind of the larger, power there, and the other members of the G5 Sahel group, Chad, Niger, Burkina Faso. Now, all of these countries have extremely weak governance, quite weak economies, and really can't provide the governance and the development that their populations need. France can provide that kinetic effort, but not the deep, level solutions that are needed, like providing just, law and order, criminal courts and things like that.
And so what do you think might be some of the solutions that could make things better?
I think the first thing, or the most important thing, is governance. Good governance at every level, from the federal level, if it's a federal government, down to the local level, and also more responsive security forces that are not just there to enforce the will of the states, but also that are there to provide security for the communities at the local level. Things like that, and then having an African champion. So currently the biggest champion of security in the Sahel is France. You need to have an African champion, be it one of the major countries, either Nigeria or Chad or Niger, taking that lead role and then pushing the others and motivating the others.
And how much, you mentioned the role of France there, how much of an appetite is there for other countries to get involved in the region?
I think France will struggle to get other countries involved, mainly because this, like many other problems, has no easy solution. There is no exit strategy for France, in terms of this problem, until, as I said, there is an African-led solution. So getting other countries, for example, the United Kingdom will be sending troops to Mali, but that will be for a very limited role. They're not going to take that big, expansive role that France has taken. And until other countries are willing to, step up to the level France is, you're not going to see that, that big solution that we're looking for.
So you mentioned they're the UK troops. What kind of role are they playing? And is that a kind of inverted commas, counter-terrorism type of operation? What would they be doing?
It won't necessarily be a counter-terrorism operation. It will be in support of the French and the UN efforts there, or mainly the UN efforts. And it's going to be more providing support to the UN. So it's more of as a troop-contributing country rather than having a distinct role like the French are playing. So it does relieve pressure on France and other troop-contributing countries, but it's not, as I said, providing that kind of distinct role France is doing, with drones and aircraft and all of that, big military muscle.
And have you found, or is it your interpretation that some of the violence, that when there's a kind of effort to kind of crack down on violence in one place, it then moves sideways into other countries surrounding? Do you think that's what's been happening?
So that's a massive issue here with contagion. So if we're looking at right back at the beginning, with the issues in Libya moving down into Mali, and that spread out into Niger, and now it's gone into Burkina Faso. And if you look at northwest Nigeria, you're having the same dynamics that have been going on throughout the region. You're having, insurgents in the bush coming out, taking taxis, kidnapping young men, training young men, and all of these kind of problems. So it has to be a holistic solution. You can't have a solution in Niger and nothing happening in Burkina Faso. Everybody has to be working together, and that's why, I'm emphasising that there has to be that African champion who brings all the African countries together, and they have one solution, and they're all working towards a unified effort.
Chidi Nwaonu, thank you very much indeed for coming to talk to us. Thank you.
Thank you.